you have all your questions in your head? You don't have it on a paper? Or
my
like...
question here. So after, it's gonna be a little bit messy for me to speak everything in English.
No, all good.
Yeah.
You want me, if you say something wrong in English, to correct
Yeah,
you?
please.
Yeah?
So I cannot feel. So I can feel like
Without being like a sassy...
being awkward.
No, but that's all good, man. It's like my philosophy is like when someone speaks the language broken, it means he speaks the other language very well. So it's for me a big effort.
At least we try. But so I don't want to be too much formal, you know. No, at the opposite. I want to be the less formal I can. So as I told you, I want it to be like a chit chat, you know? Like something super natural, super
not filtered.
Formal. Yeah, unfiltered.
Exactamente.
Like you are. How much time you open here? I don't remember.
Well, like you mean how much time? Like what is the hours I open, or since how long I'm open for?
How long?
Almost like 3 months now.
3 months.
Yeah, it's like 5 days missing, and then we have the 3 months full.
How was it? Was it how you expected to be, or?
No, what can you expect? Like of course you know when you work as a chef for like 18, 19 years, you know what you do has to be at some point right, but it's like Barcelona is like kind of a shark tank. It's like a lot of restaurants and a lot of opinions, and like you can go 2 ways. But to do what I do, it's like, it was kind of risky, but I knew someone that likes food ingredients will appreciate it. That it turned out so well and so fast on the beginning that people appreciate it, and I get reputation, was not expected, but yeah, since 3 months we are open almost, and like, yeah, I'm very happy. Like, it's nothing I can complain about. There's nothing I would do different. If I can do the 3 months again, I would do everything the same. And for what it's now, we are on the right way, and if you keep the way, we will arrive in it.
It's good. Everything's gonna be good. If
everything's gonna be good, yeah.
If this is the start.
Yeah, I mean it's you can't like, you know, you can't like on the beginning, like the first 2 months, give everyone like the nice features and the nice things, and then after 2 months you say, okay, now I have a name and I can do whatever I want. No, you have to like keep that way. You have to like, you know, you have to put yourself every day like this kind of pressure. You have to think every day is a Friday. Even on the beginning when you have 2 people booked, you think sometimes, oh, just 2 people.
Yeah.
But then like you have to think on the other side, man, these 2 people come to your restaurant, they don't know you, and give them the best night possible. And then like step to step.
Yeah, every person is a possibility.
Exactly. And it's like, how I say, like no one gets treated differently here. If you come with flip-flops, if you come with like a big Gucci bag, like everyone is the same here. And if it's a busy night or a slow night.
That's one thing I like about your philosophy, about that you told me. You remember that you don't look the image of the plate, of the dish. You don't care about like the
no, exactly. The presentation is like, of course, in this world we're living, it's very important, because everything we buy, we do, we see, it's always like influenced by the internet. And what you see on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok is like just an image. But what food is about is the flavor, the taste. And of course, on some pictures, like I had some interviews with the newspaper that say like, oh, you have to do more about your presentation. I say, yeah, maybe I do more about my presentation, and people see it on Instagram and they come here. But I rather do like more about flavor, and someone tries and talks to another person and say like, man, I tried something and I still have it on my tongue and I never forget that dish. It's for me more worth than like a picture on Instagram that has like 1,000 clicks or whatever.
Yeah. Although it's very important now.
It is, and I'm not like this, or I'm like against it. And of course I understand, and I do some things for Instagram. Like I do some show, I do some presentation. But especially if you see my presentation where I do for pictures, it's like more in the dessert kind of area, because desserts are like cold most of the time plated.
So you can prepare it.
Exactly, and you can make more creativity because the dish doesn't suffer. But if I cook something to order, and everything I do here, I do by myself, and I cook to order, I don't prepare much, and everything, when it's cooked perfectly for the taste, has the right amount of salt, of acidity, of temperature, and you plate it, after you plate it, every second the dish suffers. So if I plate the dish and it's perfectly cooked piece of fish, or it's a perfectly cooked piece of vegetables or meat, and I start to like have the plate and take the tweezers and put like a little micro herb here, a little pearl here, a little drizzle here, the dish already stands 30 seconds on the pass. In this 30 seconds, the perfectly cooked fish takes the temperature, cooks further, gets cold, and it's like, for me it's like, bam, I put the plate, I send it out. It's not the most beautiful, but it's like if you go through with a spoon, you don't need to cut much, you put it in your mouth, and it's like the perfect texture, the perfect aromatics, and I try to cook it like...
It's the closest experience that as a client you have, like you recently try as a chef, like the time that the dish spent by itself is like the last.
I mean, like we all know where we come from. When we go to grandma, the food tastes the best. Why? Because grandma goes shopping in the morning, she stays 6 hours in the kitchen, and when you come, she's just ready with the food, and it tastes fucking amazing. And this stays like this, what I worked the last 18, 19 years, it's like prepare, cut everything to perfectly square, and do a lot of preparation and do things in advance. And of course they're always gonna be good when you plate them, but you know, what I notice in working in all these good restaurants, these things that grandma does, you know, she fries a steak in a pan and it's crusty in the pan, you take some wine, you take some stock, and put it over, and like, in restaurants I worked, everything was like in piping bags and like, you know,
too standard, you say.
It's good, and you can make like a lot of flavors and a lot of like, it's nothing, but like this bridge that I put in between like this kitchen and this kitchen, it's like, it's all about the flavor, and it's like I rather have a little bit less presentation but more flavor,
more authenticity.
Exactly, and it's like, for me it's rather like having someone a taste on the tongue leaving this restaurant and go, wow, that's fucking awesome, instead of like showing someone a picture. And I know pictures are important, but
and tasteless.
Tasteless, exactly.
Yeah. You know, yesterday I like really from nothing, because with Jessica, the girls I'm seeing, we organized.
Is it your girlfriend or just?
I don't know yet.
Friend with benefits.
We are organizing.
Is she listening now, or can we talk about her?
She will listen. Yeah, because we're talking in English, so yes.
Okay. Jessica, like Leonardo, is a nice guy.
So we organized a carbonara day.
A carbonara day.
Why? Because yesterday I was supposed to go. The day before yesterday I was supposed to go to Andrea to eat with them, with him and Francesco. And I
introduce you like to Andrea's place, or
what?
You want to go to a restaurant with Andrea?
No,
Andrea cooking.
Andrea was cooking.
Yeah. He should stay with cocktails.
No, he's a good cook.
I know.
Yeah, but so he was prepared risotto with seafood.
Yeah.
He's very good cook for me.
For you, but I decide if he's a good cook or not.
Okay. But what was the problem? I totally messed up. I was at the concert that was supposed to start at 7, that started at 8, past 8, so it was total mess. I totally missed the eating, the dinner. So to apologize, we organized this carbonara day. And yesterday I watched for total how would you say, the coincidence, for total coincidence, I saw
circumstance, coincidence,
a carbonara video of a famous Italian YouTuber, no? And with a chef. And this chef, now you remind me of this chef, because he tell in the video how many times you see the perfect presentation of the carbonara with the nest, you know?
Yeah, but it's too dry.
And and when it's served, it's already cold.
Yeah, it absorbs the liquid. You get it. It's
So
the carbonara needs to be like liquidy. It needs to be like it needs to be like
like it's served and you cook it.
Yeah, but it's
like
I saw like a Michelin star restaurant in Roma or something where they put the ingredients
in the shaker.
Like when Nonna said, like what the fuck? She's like, man, man, it's like there's some dishes you don't fuck around with, and that's carbonara. Like for carbonara, you take pecorino, you don't take parmesan. Yeah. You take like a nice pancetta or like what's the name of the other, like the more fatty guanciale, like you take this one, and that's like a recipe that's like something you don't fuck around with, and you serve it the way how it's supposed to be, and you don't do it in a shaker, you don't do it like it's perfect looking. It's always a little bit. The thing with carbonara, man, you're Italian. I don't tell you how to do carbonara, but what I noticed, the carbonara needs to be always more liquidy in the pan,
and that's the difficult
before you serve it. That's the difficult. You need to think ahead. If it's now this liquidy, I played it, it arrives in front of you, you pour more wine, you talk to each other, it absorbs the liquid. And you need to think ahead when the plate goes out of the kitchen that someone eats it in 5 minutes. And this is the difficulty. If you're like with your partner at home, you plate it, you sit down, you eat it. But when you do it in a restaurant, the simple things need to be executed 100%.
Yeah, like in music, the simplest things are the most difficult things.
Exactly.
Like Mozart. You remember, Mozart is the most difficult, the most simple composer, but the most difficult to play.
Exactly. It's
another thing that in this video they told in this video is that when you cook, you have to cook for love, for something that you care. And that reminds me about you. Do you remember when we first met? When we worked together, you remember? And that you told me about, caring people, caring about people. And another thing that you told me that reminds me, that it's been very resonating with me. It's the thing that you was telling me that no one cares a lot about what they put in their mouth and what you just touch with your hands, and
exactly
like the course, where the food is come from, how it is made, like it's very no one cares.
No, I know. It's like this is something. When I became a chef, that was what changed me. Was like I did like internships as working with wood and stuff, and I really wanted to do that. But my dad said like do a internship as a chef, and I went in this kitchen and I really hated it. Like all these hours, the stress, the grease, the burns. And then like one day the guy like said to me like cook this, put this in a pan, take this, deglaze with wine. And then I cooked and I plated 6 plates, and then the staff came and takes the plate standing in the kitchen, like camareros, sommeliers, like chefs, and eating. And I was looking, I said, man, that was raw meat, that was like pasta. I cooked and they put it in their mouth and swallow it. And it was for me like, man, like being a chef, it's like a very big trust, because you come somewhere and without any question you get a plate in front of you and you take it, you put it in your mouth and you swallow it. It's like in all life, like in every situation, it's like you don't do that easy. So like what someone told me, like I can kill someone,
Yeah.
If
actually,
if I want to, I like super easy, like, and this is what made in my head click. It's like, wow, like these people, they saw you at some point and they have your opinion, but then you mix these things and they eat it and they say, oh man, that's good. And I was like, wow, that's such a trust and such a connection, where I said like,
satisfaction, no?
Yeah, I want to cook now. I want to like do these things. I want to like touch things with my hands, prepare them, and give someone the experience where they're like, and I love when like in this restaurant, everyone is freaking out always, like, because I just say 3 words, but it's like over 20 ingredients. What is that? What is that? And they have in their head, it's this. And it's like, then on the end, no, it's not this. And it's like to give people, because everyone knows ingredients and everyone knows like things and everyone's familiar, but to give them in a new way, it's very interesting for me. And it's like, how you say it, this moment to this trust and like giving people something, we always forget that, because this, like jobs we work in as camarero or cocinero.
Nothing. Think about it.
It's actually
No one,
a very, very big thing we do. And it's like when you think about, for everything you have a new solution. For everything you have something that's more, makes it easier. For everything you have like digitalized. But something that never gonna change is that doesn't matter what age you have, but we need to drink and we need to eat. And this is carrying us through all centuries, through all cultures. It doesn't matter, you like in Poland and eat pierogis, you're in Italy eat raviolis, or you're in Germany eat Maultaschen. It's all the same recipes, all the same filling, but it connects everyone. And that's what really makes this occupation for me very, very lovely. Because
actually, there are there are a lot of dishes very similar.
Very similar.
No? Like
it's
almost.
everyone thinks they invented, but like how I said, you see pierogi in Poland, you see Maultaschen in Germany, you see the ravioli, you see dumplings. It's all the same concept. And when you think about the base of cooking, creating flavors, it's like doesn't matter you're in an Arabic country and you cook it in this clay pot. It's all
ceramic pot.
Yeah, it's all based, and it's like. And these days we are like more and more pissed off about like different cultures, different religions, but what is cooking is, it doesn't matter where I was in the world. People looked at me and they judge me, but I start cooking and they don't care if I speak the language. They don't care how I look. They don't care where I come from, because you sit on a table, you crush the bread, you go in, you drink, you pour a drink, he drinks, and you hug each other and you love each other. And it's like something we never can forget about, because like it's such a treacherous culture, and we need to really keep that. Because when you travel as well and you see young people, especially I'm from Germany, I see that more and more. The culture of food in Spain and Italy is way higher than in Germany. But man, I go in hostels and I see 19-year-old people that can't even cook like spaghetti and a tomato sauce, and the tomato sauce they buy in a jar already.
Yeah.
But they don't know like how long to cook the spaghetti, how much water put in, and it's like, I think that's something that's like necessary in your life to eat. And this is something we should teach more, because going somewhere at KFC, McDonald's or Burger King, putting in something and getting it, of course it tastes good, it has a nice feeling in the mouth, but you don't care where it comes from, you don't know who it's cooking. And you can have these things, but don't have them every day. Don't make them your daily like diet. I mean, I also go to McDonald's or Burger King or KFC,
of course.
but maybe once a month, because, and that's like what I notice with cooking, how you say, like it's this trust, putting things in your mouth, like eating, and doesn't matter where you go in the world, it puts everyone together. I really, really love that.
But speaking about your travels, how much you travel? Because every time we talk, I discover one country more that you've been to, you know?
Yeah, I always forget about my age and try to postpone it, because
I really envy you a lot about this, because
but like to say to my personally, like I did my apprenticeship when I was 15. Like I was very like a troublemaker at school. Like I was very open for things, but I hated school and I had a lot of problems. And my parents, like they come from a hospitality family, and they didn't have the time to bother with the teachers or whatever. And so every time I had bad news from school, they always believed it. And so with 15, I left school because I said like,
it's not for me.
No, it's not for me. And then I did some internships and did this, and then my dad, like he's a chef as well, he said like, yeah, man, go once in the kitchen, like how I said. And then I did this, and it changed completely my mind, and I came back, I said like, no, I'm not going into school anymore. Like I go in the kitchen, I want this grease, I want this fire, I want these people yelling at me, I want this action. And so I did this. I did my 3 years. I was first in an Italian restaurant like Portobello, Mario Durante, like the biggest mafioso in the north of Germany. And then they realized after 4 or 5 months, they realized they not even have the license to educate apprentices. And I didn't super liked it, because I was like, after 3 months I was wanting more. And then I switched into a restaurant that, a hotel that has 5 stars and a Michelin star restaurant. And I worked there, and then I had whole fish, and then I realized this whole animal and all these things. So then I was 18, I went to Switzerland, and I fucking hated Switzerland. Man,
they're too perfect.
No, I mean, no one is
Why?
perfect. A lot of countries, especially Germans, think they're perfect, but they're far away. If there's a country that's perfect, it's Japan. But beside this, there's no really like.
So why you hated there?
The attitude. I went in a small business. Like the people I worked for, it was a family business. So the son took over his dad, but the dad never disconnected. He always gave him shit. The mom was very angry all the time because his son sometimes said like "shut the fuck up, bitch" to his mom, and I was like, man, that's I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then like for example, I have chef jackets there where the sleeve goes till here, and of course it's hot in the kitchen, so you put the sleeve up till here.
You cannot do it.
So when I put it in laundry, the mom was pissed off, so she just cut off the sleeve. So when I put my apron in the laundry, you normally have to tie it because when you wash, I understand that when you wash the laundry, it gets all twirled, but she cut them off, and I mean I understand that, but I had no money at this point. It was like, and then at some point like she was pissed off and she knew I have to start early. She locked the door, and I like to work, and I like to work. I worked 18 hours in some businesses, and I got yelled and I got like treated like really rough. But there's always two different levels. There's like if someone is just like moody and is being an asshole and has an attitude,
okay. That is
and gives you shit, or there's someone that sees potential in you, looks at you, and fucking pushes you.
Yeah,
Same if it's like a coach in the cabin when you're in a football game in a break, you're behind 2 goals, and he's not saying like Leonardo, try to score a goal, or like try when like Maldini or Gattuso, or like try to play around the beat. No, he says like motherfucker, man, like 60,000 people watching you, pull yourself together, score that goal. Yeah. And I like that. I like people pushing me, and it's like what people get wrong in this industry, because there's some assholes and they have some attitude and they're very low educated and they prove themselves as having some fame or being chefs and like talk down to people and forget where they're from. And there's people, they see something in you and they talk to you, but they don't get personally. They yell at you. They use words that in the normal common world would be not acceptable.
But I think that this kind of attitude, the more people are at the top, the less they are like super rough and super. They don't need to approve anything, you know.
Yeah, but this is where you can separate.
Yeah, it can be rough for pushes you as you said, and it's really positive in some ways, no.
Man, I worked for a chef in the Netherlands, Sergio Herman. He was at that point he was the only restaurant that received the full amount in Gourmet. With another, like there's 2 guides for food, like the Michelin and the Gourmet. It's like in Europe the highest, and the Gourmet goes like with points, and the Michelin goes with stars. And the Gourmet is like never ever gives the full amount of points. I think it's 20. Like, I don't want to say anything wrong. Could be 21, but I think it's 20. And it's like there's just one restaurant before in France that had 20. And then this one made 20 as well. This chef, man, it's like he was every day there, from the morning till the night. And man, and he took me sometimes. He grabbed me and he looked in my face, but I was never offended. I was like, man, this guy really cares about me.
Yeah,
of course, he uses rough words, but it's a high stress environment, and it's like
he has to do.
He has to. He has a lot of pressure. Like he has 3-star Michelin. It's like a lot of expectations when people come. And what I always say, I can't go there and then complain about it, because you go in these places, you do a trail, and you see how it is, and they don't act different when you do the trail. And when people go there, like, oh yeah, this industry is so rough. It's all good, man. There's like 1 million restaurants. Go to a brunch place, make your avocado on toast, have a chill life. You're off in 4. But what I don't like is when people come in this industry and say like, oh, you can't do that anymore. You can't be like work so many hours. You can't be so rough. I mean, I worked sometimes 16, 17, 18. Man, I worked sometimes 20 hours. I went home, I fall asleep. Is it healthy? No.
No, of course.
But where I'm now, I have my own restaurant. I rely on no one. I have like 200 plates I can do, recipes, and I'm happy about that. Mm-hmm. And of course, at this point, sometimes I came home and I hated that guy. But I always have in my head, man, without this person being so pushing me, I wouldn't be there now where I am. And I understand when it's not yours, or when it's not yours, or when it's not yours. But for these people that want to do that, I don't like when people come in this industry and try to change
talk shit. Talk bad.
It's like, yeah, you can't talk this way, or some people don't understand, and that's okay. and how I say it, I separate. I witness a lot of assholes. I witness a lot of people, they have a personal problem with people. I witness a lot of head chefs, they had like interaction with another female chef, and like people get preferred. And it's all, but this happened in all of kind of businesses. Doesn't matter where you work. But working in a high-end restaurant is fucking rough. It's really rough. It's like, and there's some people that are meant to, and there's some people that are not meant to. And the people that are not meant to don't try to change the industry. And I don't say like...
So you have to be passionate.
You have to be passionate. And it's like, it's always a discussion, why is not many females in the industry? And it's like, of course, there's a lot of chef bros, they make like these jokes. And I also don't like to work as a woman in the kitchen and the chefs make jokes about you have your period, or why you're moody and this. And this is absolutely bullshit, but you can't project that on everything, because I work with some female chefs and they were meant to it. And I work with some male chefs, they were not meant to it. And it's like, because everyone's like, oh yeah, you all like so rough boys and you don't give space for women. Man, there's space for everyone, but it's not made for everyone.
They are just wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And I work with some together, and I work with some women in kitchens. And then we had their interview for another, and then the woman said like, oh no, I don't want her here in the kitchen. I like to be the only girl with all you boys. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and it's okay. It's like, you can say that, but don't be rude to this woman when she's also good. It's like, it's also coming from that side. And it's like, there's just some jobs we have to accept where more female and more males work. And it's not we have to like, I never go to a hairstylist and say like, oh my god, here's 5 women's working, why not a man? I hate this. No, it's okay. It's like everyone needs to, and like when someone sees that,
be cool with that. That's
exactly.
Accepted.
And it is pressure, it is hot, it is stress, but every woman can take that, man.
But where, if I may ask, or if you can notice it, you didn't notice it, or I don't know, but where is the place where you learn the most, if you can say it?
Yeah, it's what you realize is cooking is studying all your life. And what I noticed, like a lot of chefs, like after 3 years being like a chef in Germany, when you become a chef, you go 3 years to school, but you have a dual system. You go 3 years to school, and in these 3 years you also go 4 days a week in a restaurant. But I noticed when you go to the United States, you go 9 months in a culinary college where you do like a 3 months. So
is it best? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it good?
No, like the system, like there's not much benefits, or like, of course, everyone thinks Germany, when you're like, you won the lottery, being born in Germany, you're safe. You are safe. But I have to say, the craftsman's jobs, like as a chef, as a camarera, as a like working with wood, with stones, with metal, is in Germany the highest I met in, because I traveled and I know. But where you learn the most is when you do your apprenticeship. You think you learn for 3 years, but the learning starts after, because you learn the basics.
Like everything, like in every field, no?
It's 60-70% cleaning on the beginning. Where you learn the most is the most uncomfortable places. When you go in a small team, when someone relies on you, when you wake up and you don't feel well, or someone else doesn't feel well, and instead of, like, you're always underemployed in hospitality. And when someone doesn't show up, and you normally should be 5 in the kitchen, but you end up being 2. This is the moments you learn. And it's like, what I noticed, there's a lot of ambitious young chefs, and I was the same, man. I was like, I see some old guys cooking, and I was like, man, what the fuck you want from me? I'm young, I read all these magazines, I do. But in hospitality, experience, nothing beats experience, because there's situations where you don't get something delivered, it comes delivered late, there's something that breaks, and the more experience you have, I start to repair the dishwasher by myself. I know when this fish doesn't get delivered, I know another fish that is very similar, I can do. So where you learn the most is where you're really for yourself, where it's the most uncomfortable for you, where you like, I worked in places where, I don't know, there was like 30 chefs in the kitchen, and I just have to take care of 2 dishes, and everything was perfect, 3 Michelin stars, Estrella. But then I worked in places that had 1 star, and I had like to take care of 8 dishes to make the dishes run downstairs and make sure that the head chef is like also feeling comfortable, because we were just 3 people in the kitchen. I hated it. But man,
It was one Michelin star.
one Michelin star. We were just 3 people in the kitchen.
Where this?
Yeah, that was in the north of Germany. His name is Ralf Haug, and like I worked in Switzerland, and I broke up there because I said I didn't like it. I didn't want to cook anymore.
Okay.
And I went back to Germany, and I worked there.
So you have a little bit of not break up. How is it the term?
No, I was like questioning myself.
You burned out.
Nah, not burned out, but I was like, man, I love cooking, but that was not like
It was not the place where you meant to be.
No, it's like what you have to understand. If you go into kitchens, the head chef always tries to break you, and then when you're on the bottom, he builds you up again and makes you exactly the same he is, because the head chef wants you to think the same you think. You receive the products, you do it the same way he would do it. You create a dish, like everything you have to think. And if you're a young person, you not normally get that easy, and there's also some, like, man, the life has a lot of distractions. And so I went to Switzerland, and I said to you, like, it was horrible, and I like, man, I don't want to do that. So I came back, I helped my dad in a hotel a bit, but like then working for family fucking sucks. It's like annoying because like everyone thinks, oh yeah, nice, you work for your dad, but no, it's annoying. It's like, it's very annoying. It's like my dad had an age where he didn't want to work anymore, and I had to stay in all the kitchen, and I had to cook food that I didn't like.
Okay.
So, and then I went, like, this guy, he was one of the first students of Noma. Like Noma in Copenhagen, the restaurant, René Redzepi, like very well known. And he was there a student before it became famous. So he opened the restaurant, and one day I took my backpack with a chef jacket and I walked through the door, and this guy looks at me and like in the lunch service cooking, looks at me, and I didn't talk to anyone. I just went in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I wrote once in my life a CV and that's it. Otherwise I always went, I shake someone's hand, I say, this is me, I work then there. So I went in there and this guy looked at me and like, what the fuck? I say, yeah, can I work a couple days with you? Like, oh yeah, when you want to start? I say, I have my chef jacket, can I start now? Yeah, go downstairs and get changed.
Yeah.
And they had for that day one Michelin star reservation, had like just like, I think 6 people booked, but then it turned out they have like 26 people booked and there were just 2 and they were absolutely shit. And I looked and I did this and I did this, and on the beginning he was a little bit arrogant to me because I asked like, oh, how you do this, and then he leans back and like, man, you're here since like 3 hours. Why do you think I'm gonna tell you how I do these things that I developed 3 months? I say, yeah, sorry that I'm asking, but you know I'm very curious. And they're like, yeah. But then we had 26 and I was like doing dishes and I watched him and I took a pan out of his hand because I see he was stressed. He looked at me and like, what the fuck you doing? And I know I do it like 98% exactly here, and I do it. And then he slapped on my shoulder. And I was like, yeah, I found the love of cooking again because it was like, we used like ingredients, the Nordic style.
It was challenging, no?
Yeah, it was challenging, but it was nice.
It
Was like cooking on a high level, but without cutting everything in Bar Noe, in julienne, and perfectly this. And I don't like that. It was like nice ingredients and bam bam. And then the service was over, and then he leaned back and said, "You want a beer?" And I said, "Yes." He gave me a beer and said, like, "Oh yeah, you asked earlier how I do this artificial potato rocks. Look, this is the recipe." And then I realized, man, when you put some effort in this industry, people appreciate you.
It, yeah.
And this was the most famous chef in the whole region, and he didn't know me. He didn't even know my surname, and he appreciated what I was doing and the work I'm doing. And I was like, man, this industry, you have to put something in, but something comes back. And that moment changed my life. And then I went back to the restaurant I worked. I said, I'm done here. I go to that place. And then when I went to this place, like I worked there, but then after 2 years, I was like, okay, I want more. So I went home. I was sitting. I working every day, like.
How many years old you were?
21.
21.
Yeah.
When you started?
Yeah. 20, like in that restaurant, 21. I was like 20 when I was to Switzerland, 19, 20, and then I came back. I helped my parents in a hotel, and then I went to this place. And then after 1 or 2 years, I was like, man, it's nice, but I want more. Like I'm keen now because I like this, but I don't know. I went home. I had 6 days working, 1 day off. On my day off, I did all the waterings. I sit home, I drink beers, smoke a bomb, and then no, and then I just applied for
you wanted more challenges.
Yeah, I know. I'm keen for more because it's with cooking it's the same with everything. It's the problem is we stay in our comfort zone, and everything that comes from the outside, like an ingredient I don't know. Okay, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to use it. Yeah, it's some Asian shit. It's like No, it's Mediterranean. Like in Germany, we do like sauerkraut, we do potatoes and this. And he gave like some Nordic nature cuisine to me, but I was keen for more. I wanted to know about fermentation. I read about this. I read about that time. I read about like all about Ferran Adria. Like that was when I was like starting. It was like
It was exploding.
it was a god. It's like untouchable. Like man, he had like this olive. There was not an olive, but it was an olive. It tasted like olive. There was a swear. And you put it in your mouth and it explodes. And like how does he do it? It was at this time, now it's normal, but at this time it was like, man, that guy went to the moon and back. And then I went home and like, man, yeah, working here and everything is cool, but your job sucks. Working hospitality sucks. Like all public holidays, you work. In the season when your area is the nicest, you work because tourists come. You don't get benefits.
You have to find the comfort on being yourself and build up your things.
Yeah, you need to. In life is important, the balance.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you always need the balance. This is why Germans always work and be on time. But then when you go in Berlin at night and you go to some clubs, you think like, oh my God, this is possible in Germany. Like people can do that.
Mm-hmm.
They do these things. And having a balance in life was always important for me. I always appreciate and have a lot of friends that designate all their life and like they come on their day off, they put things, they measure them, they write them down. I was never someone like this. I don't want to give myself compliments, but I have talent, you know. It's the same when you see Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, they're both the best. But for Messi being the best is a little bit easier than for being Cristiano Ronaldo. And I was always looking at all the chefs and should I be the same? Should I go to this? Should I write that? But I always was like, no, I go for a hike, I go with my van, I smoke a joint, I run. And then I have an idea for a dish, I put it in my phone, and then after like 2 months, I take my phone and notice and like, oh, wow, what is this combination? And you know, this is the things how I do it. And then, yeah, like.
No, it makes me laugh because actually when I stone and write things, the next day I read and what the fuck is this shit like?
No, it's like, and sometimes I'm like, man, what is this? What is this flavor combination? But then I read it and sometimes I relate it, but it makes sense. And this is what I noticed being, you can be a chef, you can come in with a perfect white jacket, perfectly clean, and spend every day like 16 hours in front and cut everything perfect. And you give for people an unreal experience. But I like to do more this like, you know, when you look me at night, you see my kitchen. It's like dirty, not dirty, but it looks like crazy. Like sometimes it looks in my head. Everything looks crazy, but it has everything a structure. And on the end of the day, it comes together. On the end of the day, everything is clean, everything is fine. But in service, I combine this. Sometimes I have 2 dishes and think like, man, this combination with this makes more sense with this, and I just do it.
But don't you think that you say that you have to find balance, no? Don't you think that balance always changes, like in the years, in the months?
Yeah, it's like, what is balance? Like,
because I noticed this in maybe like here now. I am 2 years here. The balance is not always been the same.
No. And it's like a lot of people tend to.
That's the difficult thing. Like comfort zone. Of course, comfort zone is like one concept, but it's not always the same. Like you say, like.
And what can be for you reading a book 1.5 hour in the sun on a pool with a nice drink can be for someone else being naked in a swinger club raving to like everyone has this balance. Like someone likes to go in the forest with his dog, listen to nothing.
Yeah, but I think that even for the same person, what is comfort zone 1 year is not more comfort zone in like the year next, you know?
I mean,
next year.
Yes.
I think balance changes.
But when you work in hospitality, you know, you're involved with a lot of people. It starts in day. The delivery comes, people come, book a table. You talk. You have to entertain. You have a day, you grab my dice, you're self-employed, the restaurant is open, you have to go to a table, you have to smile. Because this person pays the same price for the dishes, then another person paid 2 days ago where your grandma didn't die. It's not this person's problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, if you're employed, you can take the day off, but if you're self-employed, it's not that easy. And me in the kitchen, you know, I can take sometimes a pan and throw it in the sink. And I don't want to scare someone with that or be an asshole, but it's just like, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of pressure, and sometimes you need to release. But especially when you work front of house, it's not that easy because you have sometimes people, they're like more exhausting. You have sometimes people, they understand you more. And to find the balance is like for everyone different. It's like very difficult how you say it. But for me, what I noticed the last years, for me the balance is always the same. I like to come home and have my 20, 25 minutes. I need like really no music, no sound. Really read the news. I'm really into politics. I'm really into football. I read podcasts. I read all this, and I smoke my doobie and I switch off and I digest. And I need always this 20, 25 minutes. Why my
so you have your own routine after
exactly.
work.
Why my partner needs to digest all the things. Like everything that came into her has to come out again, and it's like difficult because
They just like analyzed or like
no, like digest the day and speaking it out. And it's like
venting.
yeah, like talking about things and
So,
and this is like
so
how I
you're
say- yeah, it's like everyone. And then there's one person that finished worked 16 hours, and what he needs is going like in a bar, drink 3 Negronis, 5 tequilas, beers, rave all night, wake up the next morning, takes a line of speed or cocaine, goes back to work. Man, when this guy operates well at work, that's his life, man. I don't judge him. It's everyone has to find his balance, but it's not like this is what Leonardo comes down after work. It doesn't mean it works for me. What I do does work on you.
Yeah, of course.
So this is what you.
I want to ask you one specific question, not from my notes, but one thing that you bring up. Before you say that you run into the kitchen with your apron and ask for work, you know. And for me, it's so weird. Not so weird, but so. I would have been scared of do these kind of things. I'm really fearful person, you know.
What do you mean? You're feared of running? Someone running with his apron in the kitchen?
No, like
there's a lot of chefs that run with their apron.
To have the balls to say, I go to the kitchen and I say, hey man, how you doing? For you, maybe it's the most simple thing. I would be like super stressful and super anxious to do it, you know.
Yeah, of course you're not a chef.
Okay, but how much you think to be scared of things is important, is not important for your life or for this kind of things? Are you scared? Do you feel fear in life, like
being scared means being aware. You know, if you go at some night and someone hits you on the shoulder and you react like, what? And they're like, man, calm down, like you're a pussy. No, I'm not a pussy. I'm just like aware of my surroundings. And I'm always scared. Like, I'm always scared I disappoint someone at night. I'm always scared I don't give my girlfriend enough love. I'm always scared I don't call my mom enough. I'm always scared, but I try to, like the older I got, I try to understand that, like, you're happy, you're sad, you're scared. And especially in this industry is having emotions, like crying and being sad or being scared is emotions you can't show in this industry, because you have a lot of chef bros, a lot of rough people, a lot of people full with tattoos, like, oh yeah, look, I'm burnt here, I cut here. They're all like strong and rough. And I worked in some places where, like, I saw people like, man, like 50 kilo more than me, like rough like this. And they went upstairs with the chef in the office and they came down, man, their eyes, like. And I was always scared, but I always also got in my head, like when people like yell at me or whatever, like I don't take it personally. Like I take some parts out that I like, and I like some things I filter. But what we always forget is when you work, like for example this restaurant, Noe. And someday I stress myself so much, but then I don't know, if you go on Google Maps or Google Earth and you go on Noe and then you scroll a little bit back, and even if you scroll like just like one way of the wheel of your mouse or on the computer, you see like, man, there's so much in this world. And it's like, if you stress yourself to be scared so much, to be scared is good, to be aware, but don't be not too much. But it's how I say it. It's like being a little bit scared is not bad. Being a little bit sad, man. Sometimes my girlfriend is very emotional and I'm very strong, and I normally digest my emotions. But sometimes, man, I'm here alone. I blast some music and I cook and I check the bookings and the restaurant is fully booked. And then like I cook and I like laughing and I'm screaming. I listen to my favorite song, and then the tears pull out, and I like, what is that? What is it? It's just emotions that I block a little bit because I need to function. I need to be like, I need to be the strong person because I have the experience. And when something's happened, I need to give the right answer. But it's also for me, it's not easy. It's like, but this is life. You never be ready to be a dad till you become a kid. You can't be before a dad. You need to get the kid. You need to make experience. It's the same with the restaurants. You do mistakes. But how I said, like being scared is emotion like being happy. And when you can show being happy, when you can show smile, when you can show laugh, you also can show like being afraid. You also can put tears when someone beloved leaves your life, when something doesn't work well. But you can't dig too much into that emotion. And when something negative happens, you can do it for 50 minutes, but then you have to be a dog that's in the water, leaves the water, you shake yourself and you keep pushing.
So don't put too much importance.
Exactly. And it's like you need to focus on the good things that give you joy in life. So, of course, sometimes I stand here, I don't get delivered, I have the restaurant full, I say, man, how the fuck do I do that? But then I realize, okay, I'm the boss, so I just call this dish out, I put focus on that, and I'm happy it's full, and I give some people, when they wait too long, I give them a free kava or whatever, so they have a nice experience, and on the end of the day, man, it's no stress. It's just a restaurant. If you go on Google Earth, you scroll back, you just scroll 1 meter on the mouse, you see like, there's like 200 restaurants in a radius of 200 meters, and it's not that important.
When was the moment where you was more scared, if you have one?
The moment I was more scared was...
I know that it's not prepared enough. I mean...
No,
For the record, I didn't give you the question, so... And I'm not following the...
No. The moment I was scared was when I went after my apprenticeship to Switzerland. Because it was a 1 Michelin star restaurant and it was a very small team. And I was there and I did the internship, and I noticed it was like they expect a lot of you, but the guy said to me, are you a young person? I'd rather have a young person that I form instead of having someone that has already opinion or... So I was listening to that and I was happy because I know I need like a guiding hand, because I was like 19, I was still a baby when I went there, And I worked there, and then after 2 days I realized, okay, they have stress. They calculate you as a fully, but man, I'm still learning. And it's like Switzerland, it's like they speak German, but if they're like in stress and they speak Schweizerdeutsch, like it's very difficult to understand. And especially as a German, when you come to Switzerland, I don't want to talk shit about Switzerland, but Switzerland, like the people, like they're different, they're very, they have chip on their shoulders. They think they're like the...
What is chip on the
chip on the shoulders? Like chip on the shoulders means like when you're a general or you're a high position, you have a lot of like...
Okay, so
then I think like you come there because you earn a lot of money. Like when I worked in Germany and I was third year apprentice, I made 320 euro after tax. If I went to Switzerland, I got from 1 month of the other, I got 2,800 after tax. So imagine you're a 19-year-old person that makes 320 euro, and then from 1 month of the other, you make 2,800. You know what that makes to a 19-year-old?
Yeah.
But yeah, like how I said, I didn't like that because I know I was not maybe ready, and I thought they was a lot of stress, and how I said like the mom was like stressing with them, and then it got too personally, and I said, okay, I understand that, but maybe not the place for me, and I didn't want to disappoint them. So one night I was at home, and I was sitting, I said, man, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I was sitting in my apartment, I was playing the Nintendo, and I looked at the Nintendo, I looked at the skateboard, I said, man, I don't need that shit. So I took my backpack, and I took another box, and I left all the shit there. I took my backpack, I called the taxi company, I said, bring me to Zurich airport, and I just left, It's not a nice thing to do, to just leave a place, but they treated me like so shit, and I'm not the person that...
It's not a nice thing, but...
No, like how I said, I got treated shit before, but there was always a balance, but then it was like very, very shit. I say like, fuck it, so I just leave.
Yeah.
So I went to the airport of Zurich, so I went home.
So this was the moment when you were scared the most? Or
yeah, like where I was like, okay Bjorn, you're a chef, but actually you fucking suck. Like, you have no chance to be a good chef because, I don't know, it's just 1 Michelin star and the level's already, like you think you can manage it, but they were like every day, like yell at you, scream at you, break you, everything was shit, man. Like, and I never like, I don't know, I had to work pastry section there, but I never worked pastry before. And I said like, man, I never worked pastry. And they're like, yeah, they had a souffle on the menu. And then, man, you had to go downstairs in the basement with the souffle. And then when you go upstairs again to serve it, and you tipped on the stairs and you did a shake, it fell. And man, and then like, I always put 3 or 4 souffles in because,
of course.
And then like, you waste my money, but man, a souffle is fucking like cottage cheese, it's egg yolk, egg white, and sugar. It's like the ingredients, and then you sell it for like fucking 30 euro. And it's like, whatever I did to try to go against, and then I realized it was a bit twisted in the head. It was a small family business, they were like not happy with themselves, and whatever. I don't want to talk shit about them, but I just say it was not mine. And I was like scared, and I didn't want to disappoint them, and so I said I'm gonna change something. And I know if I go to them and say it's not for me, they will talk to me, because I know like I push on there, and I was like coming 4 hours before everyone else came and tried to do.
But you were scared, why? Because of the future? Because you were like preoccupied and scared about...
Now to disappoint someone, and they give you the feeling all the time that you disappoint them, that they're not happy with you, that the thing you do, it's shit. And when you're like there 16, 17 hours, man, you're like, man, what else can I do? Maybe I'm not ready. So I went home.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
And like, but then I realized that's a problem in this world, in these days. It's like, for example, one day I was in a zoo, and I sit on the bench, and like I had a girlfriend at this time, and she was walking around. I sit on the bench and I eat like, I don't know, some fries or some popcorn, and looking at the penguin. And it's like, it was in the north of Germany. I see this penguin, and this penguin is like, yeah, like walking there like this and say, what the fuck you want here in the north of Germany? You have no knees, you have no legs, you have wings that you can't use. Man, and this penguin is just walking, like being fed, and like, man, and I look at this penguin like, man, it's, like you suck, man. Like, who fucking created you? And then this penguin went on these rocks, and he jumped in the water. Man, and this pool had the windows where you can look in the water. And I saw this penguin like, turning around, doing twisters, and being so majestic underwater. And then, like, man, it's not who you are, it's where you are. If I'm like a fucking bird and I'm in a cage somewhere, I suck.
Yeah.
If I'm a penguin and you put me in a desert, of course I suck. But if I'm a penguin and you throw me in the water, bro, I can show where I am. And this is what I realized. And it's like, at this point I was thinking, okay, you suck, you're not a good chef, but it was like just other like environmentally issues, they were there, and I'm not the one that points on other people that says like, okay, you need to change so I feel more comfortable here. No, I changed something. I said I'm gonna leave, and some people maybe said, oh yeah, you were too scared, or you didn't like it after like 4 or 5 months I was there. I say, dude, I'm not scared, but man, you have just one life, and as a chef you work fucking a lot of hours. And please, you can cook on a high level, but choose a nice environment and choose where you like to be, and then you also, the product you put on the plates is way better. And it was like,
I think that, I mean, I really resonate a lot about this thing, but I think that it takes courage to admit to yourself this thing, you know, to realize really.
Yeah, of course, because you think you lose. You're like, you know how this industry is. You think like you gave up, you're not strong, but no, it's like, man, I worked in restaurants, they had 3 stars, and they were way more easier than working in a 1-star.
Yeah, that's why I say to you before, like, at the higher level, it's maybe more easier. I experienced it when I was a musician. When you finish the conservatoire, at least with my instrument, with the oboe, it's very easy to go to study with the best one, because they're so little. I mean, the amount of musicians of oboists are too little, you know. How many oboists you know? So, and I noticed this thing, like the first parts of the world, of the best orchestra in the world, you could study with them, you can make like master class and for like just to organize it, and that's it. And they are, I mean, you escape, you go out from this conservatoire and it looks like hell, you know, and you go to take some classes with this kind of guys, you know, and it's like, man, What is it real? You know, you're trying to sell me something, or and it's really accommodating. You know.
Yeah, it's how much do I charge when like this kind of characters teach you? It's like it's affordable or
About what?
like when this like
When you go out?
no, but when like there's people with a lot of experience and you can say like they teach you or you can take classes with them. Is it like affordable or is it like?
Sometimes yes. Sometimes they don't even ask you money.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I remember one. I don't know if it was the first class, the first oboist of the Wiener Philharmoniker. I'm not sure. He was a teacher in Mozarteum, one of the best music schools in Europe and in the world, Salzburg. And he was super kind. I mean, he didn't want money.
Exactly, and this is what I say, like, you can work for the best of the best and they don't need to be necessarily an asshole and you can learn from them. But some people,
Super humble.
yeah, but people need this military mode. But that's what I said, like, you can work in, like, how I say, there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of music schools, there's a lot of, like, venues, like, different tastes, and it's like, man, what I can give to everyone, don't stay somewhere because you have to stay.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when you work in hospitality, you never, ever, ever own the business shit. Because, man,
Yeah.
if I calculate the money I made an hour in some restaurants I worked, I made 80 cents an hour. If I calculate it down to my hourly pay. And it's like,
Yeah, no, you cannot.
No.
do that.
and it's like, but what I noticed, like, never ever, you don't own the business, nothing. If you leave, of course you always leave family, it makes hospitality, you always like friends and family. It's like you see more than your partner, than your kids.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're always together. But if you leave, you leave. It's like, you always give the business more than the business gives you. This is what I experienced. I mean, I want to do it different here at Noe, but I also look for the right characters, you know? And I'm not saying like I want someone here that appreciates everything and wants to get paid less. No.
Of course.
But I want someone like me that has a backpack, comes in here and like, can I cook with you? I say, yeah, you have your chef jacket?
Why
Yes.
not?
But how you say it, it's you can be very famous and you can still have connections to people that just start learning because you never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
And I'm the same.
Super
It's like
important thing.
I see a lot of chefs like that, like low educated, and they never got like reputation, and then they become famous and they become arrogant assholes, and they think they're gonna be something better. No, you're not better. You just like have a little bit of attention. But
Yeah. Oh, ¿qué pasa? Otra cosa, I wanted to ask you about the future. What do you expect here? What, not just what do you expect, but what would you like to expect? About Noe, about your future, about your concept here, because I think it will not be always the same, of course. I expect to be at least if you are...
you know, like, past is history, future is a mystery, and present is a gift. This is why we call it present. Like, of course, what you expect is like, of course, you have like, I'm a
Kung Fu Panda.
like, I'm a dreamer, but at some time you need to fulfill your dreams, otherwise you stay a dreamer. I mean, I have always like ideas in my head. What my idea is like that I put a strong name with this restaurant for the next 4, 5, 6 years into Barcelona. That I show people that where I come from, the ingredients, the food from here. Like I take everything from, like you saw me today. I go in the barrio, I have granja, like the dairy. I take everything from here. Even if I could make more money going to Mercadona or Aldi or Lidl, I come here and I appreciate where I am. And I want to like give something to the city, but I also want to show like it's not all like bonjolos and bacalao, bocarones. Nah, it's like, you know, you have such a, like Spain is when you're a chef and you come from Germany, Spain is like insane with ingredients. For me, it's paradise. Like, yeah, I'm not missing on anything. It's insane. So what I want to do is I want to put my name in town. I want to show like, man, I'm just a normal dude with a Catalan girlfriend that comes here, that loves food, wants to do something for you, maybe new interpretations of things. But at some point, in 5, 6 years, I'm gonna start a project that is outside of Barcelona, and I want to open like a rule house with like probably between 12 and 16 rooms. They're all individually. I have my own farm that goes farm to table. I have like one kitchen with 24 seats around the kitchen. Everything I cook, like you have breakfast, I bake the bread.
So with the central kitchen.
Exactly, but the whole concept is like it's a big house with individual rooms, and every room has a different concept. But then you have 1 week as a photographer coming in, and you have like a photo shoot program. Then one day is a yoga instructor, one day is an artist. You can book like things. You have a sauna garden outside. You come out of Barcelona, you get like very good food. You switch off for 2-3 days. You like an oasis. That is like for my future. When I'm like I want to retire with that, have something with accommodation. I will always want to keep gastronomic like restaurant bar kind of thing in Barcelona. I always want to have something smaller than this. Like maybe just a bar, but I learned so much like traveling like already over 40 countries and being involved with food and ingredients. So I want to give something to Barcelona. I want to give like some nice snacks and foods, and I always want to keep that. But the future is that I'm gonna go out of the city a little bit more to the countryside, but not too far, that you can reach it with a car. You can take your accommodation for 2-3 nights. You have a sauna, you have jacuzzi, you have like nice foods. You like everything is solved for you. And if you like yoga, if you like art, if you like photography, there will be like some workshops for you. And this is like the idea I have for the future. But it can change. I will.
Yeah, of course.
I never like lock myself. When it's not working, I do something else. If I have someday like 5 restaurants here and I like be alright, I'm alright. And then I just like go on my vacation out of Barcelona and book like something for me or Airbnb. But I love Barcelona. For me, Barcelona is amazing, the best city I ever lived in. But I love the nature as well. And at the moment, I'm a little bit too locked, you know, in the restaurant and in the city. And I notice if you work here and you live in a city,
it's difficult to escape.
It's difficult. Yeah. It's not difficult, but you make it difficult yourself. You have it in your head like, oh no, I have to go to the train, I have to go to the metro, I have to go take my car out of the parking. But man, I know some people that walk fucking 8 hours to school, and they're like 6 years old over mountains and hills. And no, but that's for my future. Like I gonna stay in Catalonia. I settled here. I think that's one of the most beautiful spots I ever witnessed in Europe. The mountains you have, the ingredients, the coast, like it's.
That's why I complain sometimes about Barcelona, because it's my first city when I moved out. When I moved out from Italy, I came here because I already knew Barcelona. I have a lot of friends here, and I complain about the things that it's too good to, to move out.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, when I lived in Melbourne, it was very similar, but
people say that Melbourne is really not as good, but really like Europe.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a port city. It has a beach. It's like open. It has not like tall buildings. A lot of like the central business district is not so stiff.
Yeah,
and
like
you have a lot
Europe,
of
people say.
It's very nice, but then also Melbourne, man, you go out and you get what is the lata, the orits, the lata of the preserved fish you have here, the orits. Man, in Melbourne, you go in a restaurant and they open one of these orits cans you buy here for €6. They open it halfway, they make some bread to it, put it on a wooden tray, and they charge you like €21. And it's like,
what I like see it.
Yeah. No, they do it like because it's from Europe. It's something special, It's like, but what I like in Barcelona is it's such a touristy city, but you still find always these hidden gems where you go in and everything is still so authentic, so fair price, so nice. And if you live here, you know the areas you're gonna avoid, and you know the areas where you're gonna move. But the areas you have to avoid, you don't avoid them. But maybe don't go to restaurants there or whatever. But like look at them. It's like it's beautiful. It's like I never lived in a city, and I walk a lot. I walk every day from work. It's like 22 minutes, and I walk like 3 kilometers is nothing away. But I always walk like this. And I'm like blown away that sometimes I walk a different way because the traffic light is red.
You find a place that you've never been to before.
Man.
Yeah.
And not just a place that like, I never saw. No, a place that, man, I have to go there. I have to try it. And like when you go in Gracia and all these little shops, man, like I'm around here and it's like, man, there's shops for every little thing there's a shop, and they all survive. And I like to, in Germany, it's like if you go to a little shop, like a ferreteria, or like you go to a tintoreria, or like you pay like a fortune because they're so rare. And here you go, it's cheaper than what you order on Amazon.
Yeah,
it's cheaper if you want to go to Corte Inglés. And this is what keeps the whole concept together. I mean, I can cook my own food like in Germany, or I go fucking cross the street, get 3 courses for 12 euro. It's not mind-blowing. It's maybe not like the most organic piece of beef I get there on the plate. It's not the most crunchiest potatoes, but man, I'm there, I interact with people, I talk to people, I put some money in their business, they know me, they're happy about, they can help me, and it's like what I really love here. It's like, I don't know how it is in Italy, I've never really been, but in Germany I noticed.
I think that you would enjoy Italy for the countryside, you know. I cannot speak about city because I was like just 1 year in Turin. I lived there one year. But I think you would like the countryside because of this organic things that you get. You asked me before about the mercato, the bucheria, like here, next to you. And it's really, really rural in the countryside. I mean, they are like with the vans every morning at 5 a.m. They open their van, they expose the things that they have, fruit, the vegetables, the clothes, like every mercado, and once or twice a week, not every day.
Yeah, in the countryside in Germany you have this as well. We sell like a farmer's market or whatever. Then you have like the plaza in the village in front of the government building or whatever. But if you would go to Florence or Milan or Roma, like you have big markets like halls as well where you go in.
Every day, of course. But yeah, I think you would like.
No, it's like Harmalis. I will like. It's definitely the big next vacation destination is gonna be like going with a Fueta, with a ferry and go to.
The super furgoneta, I really like it. Man.
What's the name? The Sanatori.
Sanatori, what is it?
No, the island.
Sicily.
Sicilia, and there's another one. A smaller
Sardinia.
One. Sardinia, see. Like we're gonna go there with a van and then to the mainland. That's like definitely on my list. Because it's like it's always difficult for me to say like what is the best cuisine in Europe. Like the French cuisine is definitely the most developed, the most like flavor building, and with the most techniques. But the ingredients in Spain like are awesome. But for me the most delicious and the most easiest cuisine is like Italian. But I have to say like a Serrano always smokes a fucking prosciutto. Like a Serrano is always better than a prosciutto, but I don't know why, it's just a personal taste.
Yeah.
But I have to say like for me, if I have to like designate myself to a cuisine that I eat till the rest of my life, I would say the Italian, because I really love pasta. I do my own pasta here.
Yeah.
I like how to build the sauces. I like the idea that you have a pasta that just goes with seafood, that you have a pasta that catches the sauce differently, that you have the pasta that you eat with this because it gives you a different texture on your mouth when you eat that. It's like the idea behind, because like when you go to Germany and you go somewhere like in a restaurant, you eat a carbonara, like man, they cook like some cream and like jamon dulce. But then when you actually realize that you like, you know, you do the pasta, you put the pasta water, you do the pecorino, you like the egg yolk, you mix it, you fold it, and it's like, yeah, for me Italian kitchen is like really, really delicious.
I have another question. When did you realize that you wanted your own kitchen, your own restaurant?
Yeah, pretty early. Like I'm from a self-employed family. Like my
so you already knew?
Yeah, my grandma's a chef, and my mom and my dad, they had a restaurant. Then I got divorced, and they went both to bottom again. And then my dad has a hotel now. My mom has a cafe, and it's like you always see that, and you always see like the bad sides of it. That like when you're in a relationship and you are self-employed, there's like the first time there's not much love, there's not much time for each other because you're so burned out by the business. But it's a freedom. It's like there's like a life. There's like soldiers and there's chiefs, you know. And you have to decide if you're a soldier, you like to take like orders and do that, or you're gonna fucking bite in a sour apple. You spend 18 hours in the first 2-3 years, but you're own boss. And for me, it's like I can take orders, but not from not from losers anymore. And when you get older and you work more, like I work for like some chefs, and then like some of the chefs, man, they go in the middle of the day when you prepare things, they go in the toilet and check the baseball news and hide there for 40 minutes, and I hate laziness, you know?
Yeah.
And when you're lazy, it's okay to be employed. But when you're not, you're gonna be self-employed. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of dark sides on being self-employed, and you really have to want it. It's not like you say, oh, I'm gonna be self-employed and now I make the money and I'm gonna love it. No, 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 no.
So what are the ups and downs?
I mean,
You think that of course there are a lot, and of course people know it, but do you think like what is the most up and the most down there?
yeah, the most up is that you can do whatever you want. And a lot of people, they're gonna be self-employed too early, because like I'm like working as a chef since 18, 19 years, and I never felt ready. And I have a lot of friends around me that say, Bjorn, be self-employed, man. Everyone's gonna follow your food, everyone's gonna like it, everyone wants to work for you. I say, no, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet. Then I have friends, they've been like a chef for 5 years, and they be self-employed. And they make more money than me. But I was always like, if I'm gonna be self-employed, I wanna know everything. You know? I wanna go like Japanese, Mediterranean, German, Chinese. Of course, if I employ a chef and he has a different background, I'm always keen to learn and new things. But if I be self-employed, you know, I wanna like harvest all those seeds I planted over the 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's rough. It's like what I notice now, being self-employed in 3 months, what really pissed me off is like I don't have much time for cooking.
For cooking?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, right, because it's like, man, one day you come in here and you can't switch on the light.
It's very weird that you say, for me, that you said to me, but
yeah, like sometimes
fucking cook. You know?
Man, sometimes I walk in here and then I see the fridge is off. It's like, what the fuck happened? I go to electricity, and I know, like, because I did everything with my wife inside here by myself, and I know how to do things, but it takes 2 hours till I check everything. The meat slicer is not working. Do I bring it somewhere, pay 40 euro, or do I fix it by myself?
I see what you say.
Because you're also short on money on the beginning, because I invest, like I saved some money over the last 10 years. I worked as a chef, but I spent every single cent in this business. Like I have like not 1 euro on my private account anymore, because I bought a lot of things for this business from my private money because I kind of needed them and I wanted to have them. And it's like, it's so many things, and then you come, you know, it's like this day, it's not just to cook good. You have to invest like at least a day, 30, 40 minutes in social media. And you come, you look at the plants outside, someone opens the door weird, you have a scratch, you want to paint it black again, you want to clean the outside. It's like,
and you want to be perfect, you know, of course.
I know. And this is something you have to learn, because if you're self-employed, you're always behind. There's not one single day where it's 8 o'clock and I say to my
there's nothing to do.
I'm like ready, let's do it. No,
yeah.
I'm always behind. And you have to put priorities. You have to disconnect from some friends. You have to disconnect from some family. You have to focus on you have to focus on your relationship, and yeah, you have to put priorities. And sometimes, man, it's for me it's difficult, because like, you know, I'm alone in the kitchen at the moment, and I like it fucking clean. And sometimes like I cook and I look and I see the wall, it has like marks of water. I say, man, it's just marks of water. You wiped it yesterday, but you didn't spray it anymore. And then I cook again, and I look. And then like I take the pans and I stop 10 minutes and I wipe the whole kitchen, and I'm like, man, no one sees that. It's not important for any of the guests. But then also on the other side I say, man, it's important for you, because you can do it, and like just do it and keep this level. And I know it's a lot of hours at the moment, but it's not easy, because if you try to make everybody happy, your friends, your family, to answer every meme some sends you, if you go to your friend at night that wants to drink beers till 3 in the morning and smokes a joint, if your girlfriend wants a date, if you want to go to your suegra because she wants to have breakfast with you, if you're gonna call your mom, if friends gonna book a vacation in Barcelona and they say like, oh yeah, but you take off, you bring us around the city, you have to be strict, and you have to like put some things aside, focus on some things. And if you understand that and you don't get down on that you can't reach or can't make everybody happy, you're good. If you try to make everybody happy and go home at night and you're so devastated because like, oh my god, I forgot this birthday, I forgot this, yeah, you're gonna suffer. But I have a lot of friends, they know me and they know my heart, and if I forget a birthday, they're not pissed off. My best friend, I know from kindergarten, he asked me to be his best man on his wedding. I say, man, I can't do that. because I need to organize the bachelor party and this, and I'm too much involved now in business. So then he had his wedding, he had to cancel it because like his father-in-law got a heart attack, so they postponed it. I took time off, I came anyway to Germany. I spent a lot of money, I came to Germany, I visited him and stuff. So he postponed the wedding, and the wedding was like 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, and we had like a problem here with the gas. We had a gas leak, and we had to change everything. And I thought, okay, we just changed it, but then I realized 15 years we didn't have like inspection here, and like everything needs to be new. It was 3,000 euro, and like, you know, at the moment I have 50 cents on my bank account, and 3,000 euro is like killing you. So I have to tell my best friend I know since kindergarten that asked me to be his best man on the wedding. From my point of view, it's absolutely like, I'm not a big fan of weddings. Like weddings is for me like bullshit. You know, weddings is like a funeral just with a cake, you know? And everyone put everyone in pressure, like come to my wedding, come to my wedding. And this wedding was cool, but there's some weddings I know where you have to pay 150 euro to enter the wedding and have the whole like party and everything.
I have to enter?
Yeah, really? Like some people do now weddings where they book like exclusive like chalet on the island, and you have to pay like...
You have to pay as a guest.
Entrance, yeah. So that wedding was not like this. And like, man, I've been in my life to 2 weddings. There was when my dad married again, and my brother. And I said, it's the only wedding I go, but I couldn't do it. I was like I was sitting outside here. The gas, man. The guys tried to fix, they switch off the electricity. They switch all my freezer. I had to throw out like 1,500 euro worth of ingredients. I was devastated. I just opened like 12 days. I was just I was sitting here, everything they couldn't find. I said, man, I called my friend. I said, man, Niels, I can't come to the wedding. I said, there's no possibility. He said, no, Bjorn, I transfer you money for the... I said, Niels, it's not about that. Like, and I don't spend money that I don't have. That's always my philosophy. If I want a television, but I have to pay it like in rates over months, I can't have the television because I don't have the money for the television yet. Yeah. I said to Niels, I want to come to the wedding, but when I don't have the money, and it's not about this, I have to close here for 3 days, and the reputation they're going to build up. And I was already closed for 4 days because of this fucking gas thing. These things break my heart, but he understood and he was happy. But on the end of the day, after 1 year, I would say, man, maybe I could have closed. Maybe I could have been to that wedding, to this most important day, not for me, but for my friend. But it's decisions you have to do, and they're very difficult. To now to separate what is important, what not. And you have a lot of people that don't understand, because I have a lot of friends that are from hospitality. And how I used to talk, like I would like look deadly in someone's eyes and say like, shut the fuck up, you don't know what it means to be like a fucking self-employed in a kitchen, like you want to be 1 day with me here, you know how much stress that is, you can't even handle to go in your office and reach your break by time and be back, you know, like I have a very strong heritage. It's like, I don't have a lot of understanding for some people that complain in their normal daily life, but I have to understand what some people complain, what for some people is important, is different for me, and sometimes I don't have the understanding. It's the same with my partner. That is just in 3 years in front of house or like in the industry, and the language I talk sometimes or like I am hurts her, but I don't want to hurt her. But I'm used to that since 20 years, so I always have, and this is what's difficult for me because no one looks inside my head or my heart. I think every time I think about everything, about every person. Every like family member, everyone is in my heart, everyone, but I don't speak it out and I don't do something, but I try to make everyone happy, but sometimes I have to focus on something else. And this is now when I'm self-employed, it's difficult for me because I need to focus on cooking because this is what I can, this is what the people come for in the restaurant, this is what they like. And I have to put some people on the side, but then sometimes I say like, fuck it, I put the gate down, I say today closed because we don't have water, but we have water. But man, I need to sit down with my friend and have a couple of beers because I get too stuck into this rhythm, you know.
It reminds me about Ferran Adrià, that they close they arrive to close 8 months in a year.
Yeah, I mean, of course they have the reputation that they can do that. Okay. Like, and they open 3 months and like per head you spend like 300 euro just for the food. With degustation, you spend 400 or 500.
But if you think about that, it's a human and very good philosophy. Think of, I mean, for me, because if you're working with food, of course, and art, what are you expressing? You're preparing it. It has to be perfect. It has to be like, of course, more than just food. There's storytelling, email, presentation, everything. But you know, if you put so much effort, it's not like 8 months of vacation.
No, developing research.
Exactly.
It's
a very good philosophy.
And what I really like on the was a really nice story with the Adria brothers is like that this brother Albert, the younger brother, no one talks about him, but man, he been always the head behind the creative dishes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very, very significant for the cuisine. But I mean, he has Enigma now, and like people know him. But like, man, he was always in the shadow, and there was always like he's very significant for like shut up and work, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really sometimes, you know, it's really sometimes about that, because sometimes it's about shutting up and work. And it's like if you talk too much, if you try, of course there's problems, and but you have to talk after the service about them. And it's like, and when it gets too much talk, there's time for talk and there's time for work. And it's like how he said, shut up and work. And this is like also like, I love to talk, I love to have party, but there's like this 4 hours where like, you know, did you watch a movie Over the Top? Where I take the bass cap and turn it around, and I'm not BJORN anymore. I'm like the machine at work. I still have my like, my philosophy and my respect for everyone, but my answer is gonna be, and some people can't deal with it because they know me private, and I'm like happy, I have my hair open, I have flowers, I smoke weed, I dance. But when I'm in the kitchen, this is what I say, it's a balance.
That's very positive for you. I mean,
yeah,
I think that it's a very good characteristic that you have.
And it's like, and some people when they work the first time with me,
because it's not easy.
No, it's not easy, and I never employ friends. Like I have a philosophy, I never employ friends or family because everyone knows me how I am. But when I'm in the kitchen, I'm not an asshole. But like, man, there's for me one thing. It's like clean, the ingredient, and the dish himself. And everything else, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, it sounds sometimes rough for someone, and I don't force someone to do that. But I went through some things, and I don't say to you, you have to go through the same because I ate shit. But what I went through was not like torch, or was like, it formed me, and I'm very happy about this way I took. And if I'm in the kitchen, I give this energy to you. If it's not for you, you want to work in a different environment, or you can't handle this, you want to talk more, you want to have more fun in that 4 service hours.
That's different things.
I have fun as well, man. I love to do pranks, I love to do, but this 4 hours where a service, man, I'm like, put the head back, and I've just focused that the guest enters and leaves the most happy possible. And after that, man, the kitchen can be dirty. We can like take off the jacket, we put the hoods on, we smoke a doobie, we drink beers. But in this 4 hours, you have to fucking function. And like some people like, when they work with me, like, oh my God, BJORN, why are you such an asshole? I know, I'm not an asshole. I'm just very precise and focused what I'm doing. And I did not invest 20 years for just a little laugh or a joke and someone has a bad experience. You know, for me it's like, and I always say, it doesn't matter you wear a gold chain and a Rolex or a Breitling on your chain, on your wrist, or you come in with flip-flops and you still have sand in your hair and you just can afford 2 dishes, everyone gets treated the same. Everyone gets always the best of the best, and this is really my philosophy. And I don't fuck around, you know? When like I send all the dishes and like I write some music, I put like, you know, like put the shot, you can have fun, it's okay. But you come here, you can have a good time, you can behave on the table how you want, but the plate you get is the highest quality possible, the best ingredient, and executed the best way. There's sometimes it's busy, and I know maybe some of the dishes are 98%, and I like devastated when I go home. And I like, Maria, today everything was shit, I'm not happy, I don't stand behind anything. But then she said, man, BJORN, the guests, no one noticed, no one noticed. Say, that's, of course they don't notice, because they're not professionals. They consume, and they have a good time. But if I say at some point, oh yeah, they don't notice, I will go 2% more down. I will go 5% down. I will buy a cheaper ingredient.
Yeah.
I will reduce the sauce a little bit less because then I have more out. That's not the way. It's like, I always, and a famous chef said to me once, BJORN, treat every day like it's a Friday. Because like, I notice a lot of chefs, they go and they don't have a lot of reservation. Oh, today I take it easy. And then they get more reservations, and then they have to like stretch things. They have to cut in service, not precise. And for me, every day I set up as a Friday, And I rather take some ingredients after 2-3 days and eat them by myself or use them for staff meal, even if they're expensive. But I always want to give the people the best of the best. And of course, like sometimes I could do more margin with my calculation of the plates. But it will come someday that I make money. At the moment, I want to be happy and I want to make the guests happy. And like people start to appreciate my food and they come here, they come again, and it makes fun. And it's like a lot of people say like, oh, you're too cheap and this. I know I'm too cheap, but at the moment I'm not perfect. At the moment I'm alone. Like sometimes you get a basil that is not perfectly green, but it tastes good. It's just a little bit oxidized because the fridge was a little bit too cold, but I still put it on a plate because I don't want to throw it in a bin.
Yeah.
It has no impact. The just impact is the visual. It's not the taste. It doesn't taste rotten. It doesn't taste like too mature. It doesn't taste like bitter. It's just like, sometimes I serve a glass and it has a water spot. I mean, yeah, but it's a real kitchen. It's not a factory.
Yeah.
We do mistakes. We're not perfect. And sometimes you have the food that goes all through my hands and all through I try everything. But sometimes you sit here and you say like, oh, I imagined something else under the dish. I like it. I said, it's okay. You tried, and I'm always someone, if you try it and you say, I don't like it, man, you don't have to pay for it. It goes back in the kitchen, I eat it, and I say, I make you another dish. And that's like, some places I notice these days, they like disconnect too much from this connection in between client and kitchen. They're like we pay a lot and we have like expectation, and you think you're on the highest level and you're being arrogant.
Yeah, it's too far.
Yeah. And
you reminds me, treat us every day as a Friday. You reminds me the movie I saw yesterday night, John Wick 4.
John Wick 4?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's on Prime, man.
It's on Prime?
Yeah. Look it. Watch it. He said, how you treat anything, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly.
That's cool, man. I'm very happy to have talked to you and about your philosophy too.
Yeah, it's just
it was something that in this big project I'm doing, it's something that I want to present, because it's good to present the dishes. It's good to present even in the social media the presentation of the local, what are you offering. But I'm very, very glad to have the possibility to present even the person in the kitchen behind the bar. So we have to finish this interview. Thanks, man.
Leonardo?
Thanks, bro. So we have to make some photos now.